The Superbox. We have the Superbox, so we know that we review all of it. We review everything that's on this channel. We are going to dive deep into it. Let's look at the specs on this thing. I'm actually really curious on this guy. I've heard a lot of people talk about it, lots of ups and downs about this device. So as you guys know, we've had a lot of back and forth with Superbox, and we got our hands on the S3 Pro. Now, if you guys are interested, I do have 3 of these guys. Let me know, and also check the description below if you guys want to purchase this thing. So yeah, the first thing I gotta say is this looks clean. It looks very clean. It does say it does the dual band Wi-Fi 2T2R. It's a 32x2. It supports 6K. I don't know who's going to have a 6K TV. That doesn't really exist. OTA, it has H.265, which that would be awesome because that pushes 8K. So very interested to see. MSRP $699. So probably going to be a lot cheaper in the link below. So yeah, let's go ahead and check this guy out and see exactly what you do get in this thing and if it actually works. So here we go. What do we get in the device itself? So here is the Superbox right there. And yeah, the packaging looks standard, I guess. You get the box right on top. And here it is. There is the Superbox right there. So yeah, it's got 2 giant antennas. Make sure it connects to wherever it needs to connect. I gotta say, the feel on this thing does seem like it's very cheap plastic. Yeah, very cheap plastic. It does look like there's going to be a time right here, so we'll see. Lots of ventilation. As far as the ports, you got your optical, your audio optical. You got landline, HDMI, AV, IR receiver, and the DC for power. You do have a restore button right there, so you'll need a little pin. USB, it looks like a 2.0 and 3.0, but you get 2 USBs and a TF card slot right there to expand the memory. 32 gigs is a lot of memory, so unless you're going to be doing something crazy, 32 gigs should be good. So here we go. You do get a user's guide here at the bottom. So there it is. If anything you need to look at, there it is right there. We are going to be using their HDMI cable. So here it is right there. So it looks like you just get like a standard cable, nothing fancy. So we're going to test this guy out. Power supply. Here it is. I always harp on power supplies, like how important it is to not cheap out on your power supply. So the box does feel, you know, it does feel like it is weight, but the plastic itself does seem cheap. This power supply does not seem cheap at all, which is really good because yeah, you don't want it to fry when you have a cheap power supply. So that's a good one right there. Now, when it comes to your remote, I gotta say, when I first see this remote, it looks really nice. Looks like there is some kind of voice thing right here. Looks like there is a mic right there. You got power, so you should be able to control your TV. So you should be able to sync this to your normal TV. So you got power, the inputs, and the volumes. Now, as far as the box itself, you're going to be able to power, mute. Here's your standard up, down, left, right. Okay. Your mouse, your info, reverse, home. Volume up and down for the box, next and back. It looks like a settings here, probably a menu right there. All the numbers here at the bottom, which is great. Here at the top, the colors. Normally these colors are going to be shortcuts to something, maybe with some live TV stuff. There's no batteries on this thing, so keep that in mind. Now, the entire back plate does come off, which is kind of weird to expose everything. Normally the back plate will just open up this little thing, but for some reason it exposes the entire thing. Kind of weird. So as far as programming goes, I really do like in the back here, it says programming functioning instructions. So you could actually program this stuff depending on what you want. BLE remote pairing guide. So another instructions here on the remote, which is great. So it does use 2 AA batteries. So make sure you guys do have 2 good AA batteries for this thing. So let's go ahead and plug ours in. Now, it does use 2 AAA batteries, so make sure you guys do use 2 AAA batteries. The one thing I like to do is when I do put my batteries in, can I take them back out? Sometimes it's really hard, and yeah, the remote is actually made very well. So the only kind of weird thing is just the back plate is a little long, and it was probably just for this thing. They probably could have done it a little bit different, but Not bad, not bad. Now, when you do move it, it does show some lights right there that are flashing, so it's probably just trying to sync. So let's go ahead and connect this thing and see exactly how it looks like. So here we go, plugging it in, getting a little red light right there, and looks like we are now getting a screen right there, so that's pretty nice. Let's come over to the device itself and see exactly what it is. Superbox. So there is your launcher. It looks like it is struggling a little bit. Yeah, it definitely looks like it's struggling a little bit as it's turning on for the first time. So anytime it does that, it might be checking for updates, might be checking for making sure it's good. It does have a disclaimer notice here. And all you got to do is just hit agree or skip. Now, the one thing with the remote is when I am pointing it a different way, it's not picking it up. Now, there was an IR plug-in in there, but you didn't get an IR cable. So you got to make sure you're pointing right at it or it's not going to work. So setting up your screen here, you could actually blow it up a little bit so that way it fits, or come down so that way it's a little bit smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and click it right there to 100%, finish, and then set up your network. Now, once you are finished, it's boom, you're in. Now, you're probably wondering at the bottom, when you do get some of this stuff, it says Mac model and it has like some information there at the bottom. The box does have stuff like that. So most of these resellers, they keep track of their stuff. So if your box ever goes dead, then you need to get a hold of these guys here. Now, as always, here for more information, there is a website. So wherever you get your stuff at, this is where you're going to want to go and give them those numbers right there. That way they could help you out. So the first thing I like to do is check on IDA64. So I went ahead and add IDA64. I'm going to go through, I'm going to do a whole separate video on all the different aspects of all the apps that you get. So here it is. All Winner is going to be their manufacturer and brand. And we know All Winner is actually really good. So the device says Petrol P1. It says 2 gigabytes of installed RAM. So it looks like it's good. 32 gigs of internal memory. However, you are left with about 23, which is still good. It's a good amount. Bluetooth version 4 Plus. As you see the model right there, right next to me right here, it says model is Superbox S3 Pro. So this is the latest and greatest. When it comes to the CPU, you do have the All Winner H6 ARM Cortex A53. It is a quad core and it's running at 1488 megahertz. Now, when it comes to the actual display, the GPU is going to be running the Mali G720, which is fine. It's pulling up the screen resolution at max, which is great, 1920 by 1080p. As far as your Android goes, you are running Android 9, and the device says it is rooted. And of course, the most important thing here is going to be Codecs. What does the Codecs actually do? As we know, All Winner has a lot of good stuff here. So when you look at the Codecs, you do have your MP4, 3GPP, AMR, FLOC, ALA, MLA, MPEG, Opus RAW, Vorbis. You have a lot of really good stuff here when it comes to all your audios. Now, it does seem like the audio list is actually really short. It stops right there where I'm highlighted at. I don't see any specific awesomes or anything very specific for like Dolby or DTS or anything like that. So, but with some of the raw and Vorbis, Opus, all of that stuff is going to work pretty good with them when it comes to the audio. As far as video, you got your All Winner video decoder, AVC, 3GPP, HEVC, which is good. You do have 264, which is a really good 4K one, 263, which is again a good 1080p. As far as the bottom, you got your VP8, VP9s, 263, 264, VP8 VND. So you have all the good stuff. Okay, so I'm going to do this. And this is my gripe when it comes to stuff like this. So I'm going to actually look for this specific decoder. So it does say that it has H265 right there, right above it. It does show MPEG-4 AVC. So there is an MPEG-4 encoder, but this one's going to be a little bit different. You do have several MPEG-4s here. MPEG-4 ES, you got your was a decoder encoder, you got MPEG-2, and from what this is, I don't see the combination of that anywhere. I see AVC and I see MPEG-4, but those are separate encoders. So for this thing to pull, I know it says support 6K, which there's, you know, you're going to go from 4K TVs to 8K TVs. So the only thing that tells me about a 6K is that it's going to upscale it to look really clean. However, from what's in the box, I don't see that specific decoder. Yeah, I don't see the specific decoder anywhere. So it should still run based on what it is here. It should still run, but it doesn't have that specific encoder. I always look for it. If you're going to put it on the box, H.265, it better be there in the codec. So maybe there's going to be an update that they're going to be adding it. So it should be a simple software update if they are going to do it. But out the box, that's the only thing that I'm kind of like, yeah, I hate when they false advertise that stuff. So far, this thing runs extremely smooth. It runs really good. The codecs runs really well. It should pull everything that you need for your 4K, which most of us right now care about making sure we have very high quality stuff. Stay tuned in the next video. We're going to check this one out to see if it actually can pull that off. Yeah, with all that being said, you guys take care of each other, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, guys.